Hello ladies and gentlemen, PlayAsia supplied me with this copy of this game, so if you want to support me and the channel, use the link in the description to go and buy something, and there's also a coupon code you can use to save a couple of bucks off your order. You'll be helping me out and hopefully you'll be buying something good. Thanks for your support, enjoy the show. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Ghostbusters the video game Remastered. I've actually wanted to play this for years. I only recently, and by recently I mean a couple of years back at this point, saw the original Ghostbusters and I quite liked it. The dry wit and sarcasm appealed to me quite heavily because that's basically all I am. I am basically just the physical incarnation of dry wit and sarcasm. With that said, I wanted to go pick up the game, and it was just not available. It'd been delisted, taken down, not for sale anymore, whichever way you want to swing it, so I never really got the opportunity. Thankfully, they have remastered the game now, and now I get to play it. I've picked up the Switch version here, and to be fair, it actually runs pretty well. So, you know, no argument from me, but we'll be able to actually demonstrate that. There is an extras menu, which contains things like concept art. It's pretty neat, just seeing the ways they've expanded on the universe, including turning some things like the Grey Lady into actual playable boss fights, which is very interesting indeed. And you can also see the videos you've seen so far. They make these weird, like, pre-rendered cutscenes. They're not that weird in the grand scheme of things, they just look a little odd. Especially due to the fact that this has got all the original actors in it as well, so it's a bit weird having it all be so close and then have a version like this exist where the faces are just that little bit into the uncanny valley, but I guess that's what this generation of video games was like. So we do have some options that we can fill around with here, and I appreciate that you can do things like completely remap the controls, swap the ZL, ZR, L and R buttons, and change the stick layout as well. So it's a pretty customizable control scheme in the grand scheme of things, but the overall basic controls that you start with are usually fine. Pretty good amount of sound options here. The sound mix is just a little off. You can hear the dialogue a bit more than everything else, but frankly that isn't really a bad thing. It's Ghostbusters. You also got subtitles and film grain, which starts out as off by default, which is great. And there's some gameplay options. Nothing wrong with any of this, really. You could probably turn the damages HUD off if you like, but that's still actually pretty funny in the grand scheme of things. You can actually go like full zero UI in this, because they did a couple of neat things, like have your overheat meter and health meter be on the proton pack, so it's not that complicated in terms of user interface. With that said, we're just going to hop straight into the campaign. There are 3 difficulties to pick from. There is no co-op on this version as far as I can tell, so that's a little disappointing because this game would actually be pretty good co-op, and you do also have the ability to replay missions. And I've been through 3 missions and I'm currently on the 4th. As far as I'm aware, there's only like 8, so the game's not particularly long. With that said though, the extra difficulties would give you at least a little bit of replayability. So let's just resume the career. We are at the Firehouse between missions, which is kind of neat because it means you can wander around and have a look at everything before you go and actually hop into any kind of story content. And they actually did a pretty good job at reconstructing the Firehouse. It's a little bit larger in scale than it is in the movie, but you can kind of accept that as a sort of, you know, you need to move around this bloody thing, so they need to make it relatively simple to navigate. But it's got a lot of the details there. At least from what I remember from the first Ghostbusters movie. So yeah, we've got an objective that we can do, but we can just wander around and play with stuff if we like. I'm almost slightly disappointed that didn't actually launch into a proper game of Q*bert, but there you go. The story is you're basically a rookie, new to the Ghostbusters Firehouse. It's been about 5 years since the first movie, so it's like 2 or 3 since the second one. And it does follow one from those movies, although it's not exactly a game I'd recommend you go into with no knowledge of Ghostbusters, but at the same time you could pretty easily drop in and figure stuff out. Although you'll probably be wondering what the hell a proton pack is meant to be if you've never seen the movies. Actually, hang on. There's something up here that I need to go and have a look at. Right. It's in this room here. Also, you can roadie run, which is kind of hilarious in its own way. No, it wasn't here. Where is it? I'm looking for something in particular. Yeah, just it's a nice level of detail. Now I know it's here somewhere. There it is. Can I actually use it here?
You have 13 new messages.
Well, you dodged the bullet this time. Not bad. Not good either, mind you.
Yep, it's got that silly writing to it, which I appreciate. There's plenty of those messages that you can actually go through on that phone. And the funny thing is, while the receptionist hasn't had much in the way of proper story involvement yet, you can actually come downstairs, and if you wait long enough, she'll actually pick up the phone and answer a call. At least she usually does. I can't actually hear it right now, so I don't know if the phone's actually ringing. She usually has a phone call or two to answer. Maybe I have to wait until after I've done the story bit. And there's Slimer. How you doing, buddy? Shame you can't interact with him, but you can at least see how much detail they've put into making it look like the original effects. And I got to admit, the just sheer presentation of like some of the ghost effects is really nice. They obviously put a lot of effort into getting that weird glow effect right. It's still not exactly correct, but like it's close enough that I can give them like the thumbs up for it, because it really does look good. It really does look like the original movie as close as you can get, because they were still working with some really shoddy practical effects, and I can imagine how much of a pain in the ass it is just trying to recreate those kinds of effects. I mean, Jesus.
Well, it's a great read, but nothing about that.
I know that symbol.
How?
It shows up sometimes in Sumerian ritual magic. There's a statue on loan at the museum that features it.
What does it represent?
Just a symbol. Signifies a path to obtain great power. Most of my colleagues assume it's an old constellation.
No constellation I ever saw. And I used to tell fortunes on Coney Island.
Is that right? Did you wear a turban?
No, man. A red velvet cape with moons. It was plush.
Get this. The codex does indicate there is some kind of feeder system required to channel energy to a destructor form.
A destructor form? Like Stay Puft?
It's entirely possible that system and this pattern are connected.
It's possible.
Wait, you said the Gozerian statuary at the museum is on loan. From whom?
Ivo Shandor, the architect. Well, the Shandor Foundation. They control Shandor's remaining estate and holdings. Ivo is a big collector of Gozerian artifacts.
By Ivo Shandor the architect, you mean Ivo Shandor the genocidal maniac, right?
That's what I was researching when Gozer attacked me. Shandor's architecture firm was involved in a number of projects around town in the late early 1900s.
Including Dana Barrett's old building on Central Park West.
You mean the one with the extra-dimensional antenna that drew Gozer to our world so he could attempt to destroy it? Had a nice view of the park, though.
Yes, but he also did some renovations on existing buildings and a number of public works. There was controversy, because a lot of people thought the work was unnecessary.
Let me guess. He did some renovations on the public library building on Fifth.
Right. And the Museum of Natural History.
Recent visitations, specific localized paranormal activity, singing Vikings.
They're all connected to Shandor and this pattern.
Well, that was fair enough, I suppose. And as you can see, the gang's all here in both voice and body, because all of the original cast have returned to lend their talents to this game. Not to mention, This was indeed written by Dan Aykroyd and the guy who plays Egon Spengler. I cannot remember the actual actor's name, but they did write the original movies and they did write the game.
Cold again?
They've even got the guy who played Walter Peck back, I'm pretty sure.
If you guys fire just one more unauthorized proton stream, he'll shut us down for good. Hello, Ghostbusters. Yes. I don't think so. No, it didn't just stop working, and it doesn't just need toner. It literally exploded after it screamed obscenities at me. No, I don't think the nature of our business has anything at all to do with whether or not you honor your product's warranty. Uh-huh. So what you're telling me is that none of your other copies that you've sold throughout the entire world have screamed and exploded before breaking down? Uh-huh. Sir, I have to tell you, I find that very hard to believe. They are willing to believe you, but I wasn't born yesterday. No. Goodbye.
Yep, still a thing. Let's hope Venkman actually comes along on this one. He didn't come along in the last mission, so we'll see who jumps in the car with us this time.
We should warn the mayor.
I don't know. He's likely to just sick Peck on us even more.
You should get a closer look at the museum.
Well, the mayor's gonna be at the museum for the exhibitioning opening gala tonight. It's where I need to be too.
Ilissa, you sure make work fun for me. Is business casual okay? I don't have a tux.
Are you kidding? He doesn't want you guys within 3 city blocks of the museum tonight. He thinks you make his campaign contributors nervous. Besides, that Peck guy will be at the party too.
Okay, Egon will stay here and finish analyzing the data from the library. The rest of us will go in by the service entrance of the museum and lay low. Peter can attend the party as Alyssa's guest and stay in plain sight of Peck.
And that frees us up to check out the rest of the building.
I love this plan. It's just dull enough to work. Il, I'm gonna bring you a corsage.
Yes, we just arrived at the loading dock. Keep Peck distracted.
Well, that was quick.
We'll just poke around.
Okay, I'll take one for the team.
No sign of the curator. Alyssa told me he'd meet us right here.
Alright, so we're not going to get into combat for a little bit by the looks of it, but that means I can just explain the rest of the mechanics. The game is Gears of War without the cover, basically. As I said before, you do have the roadie run, and I'll be fair for them for this one. Only being able to sprint for a few seconds actually makes sense in this context, because
Someone wanted out of this box in a big way.
you've got that gigantic proton pack on your back, so I'm going to give them a little bit of a
Wants to can come through.
break on that one.
It has to be sealed using your slime blower. That's the key reason we developed that tech.
You do get a bunch of things you can do with your proton pack this time. They've actually added a fair few functions to it. You do also get the ability to use your PKE meter, which is good for finding random disturbances, artifacts, and enemies in the world. You can just use it to wander around like this if you like. I wish there was a way to display this like on screen though. But it also has this nice tendency to show you where to go to find stuff. And you can also just blow the crap out of everything. One thing this game has really got going for it is really fun use of physics. Not only that, if you hold the LB button, you can turn on the capture beam. And you can actually do things like pull shit away. So I don't need to destroy it if I don't want to. Although, to be fair, in a game like this, you kind of want to. Because the physics on everything is actually really interesting. They often leave, like, giant piles of objects around for you to just knock over. You have no idea how satisfying it is to see a big stack of books, go and knock them over thinking, oh, that's just environmental dressing, they won't actually have physics on that. And every single book just flies in a random direction. It's great. Not only that, but they actually punish you for causing damage as well. Although, I don't think they actually punish you. They just show you that little meter on the top left. And it's pretty fun to, like, knock over a chandelier and see a few thousand appear.
Was that a
Ooh,
possessor?
yeah, we actually have a ghost.
Level 7 or above. too.
Didn't we used to fight class 2s and 3s?
Before you ask, we already fought the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, so we're not going to be seeing him again, unfortunately. Maybe. I'm not going to claim to know. I don't know where this game, how this game ends, but still. But yeah, as I was saying, your proton pack has plenty of options. You've got the regular beam. You've got the ability to do a capture beam, which will help you, of course, drag ghosts to traps. You also have the ability to fire out an explosive shot. And then you can swap types. So there's a shotgun. And you also have a slow down beam. And you already have the slime, it's probably more like a cannon than anything I already showed off, which has not only the ability to get rid of black slime, but you can also tether things and it'll retract them like that, which makes them useful.
Who's in there?
We can also find
Somebody
artifacts.
who wants out is who?
The ritual mask of bad advice. Sure, why not? I guess we can call that
Get in here
cursed.
and clear this off, please.
Be ready for anything. Possessors.
We have to free the trapped civilian? Where's the civilian? Oh. Can I do this? No, it won't actually let me do that. Alright, we'll just use the regular. There we go.
Dr. Rutherford. Z, meet the assistant curator of the museum.
Is that horrible, terrible thing gone?
Yeah, she's gone. You good?
Yes, I suppose so. I'm a big fan. I even had you over for my daughter's birthday a couple years ago.
Is that so? Well, I think we can get you a sticker or button or mug or t-shirt or something when we're done here.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Follow me. We'll go through the restoration department.
Nothing else spooky around here. So yeah, what I just found was an artifact, and those... Uh-oh.
There it is again! Don't let it get me!
Don't
Yep.
you worry.
What I just found was an artifact, and those artifacts give you extra money to buy upgrades. Oh god. What are we gonna have to do about this one?
Can you help him?
Hold him down, young blood.
Yeah, just beat the shit out of him. Works for me. Alright. So here's how the combat in this game works. It's pretty simple. You use your abilities however you please. So I'm just going to swap to this here and just blow the ever-loving Jesus out of him. And you attack ghosts. And when they are at low health, they can be played with in a series of ways. You do also have to get your mates up from time to time, and they will do the same for you. They are actually pretty competent AI teammates. I'll give them credit for that one. Yeah, you use your abilities however you see fit to attack the ghosts and drain their health. You use the Y button to throw out your trap, and the game will give you a nice little yellow beam to let you know where it is, so that when you are ready to capture the ghost, you can drag it straight in. Oh, don't worry, Winston, I got ya. They'll even give you, like, neat little warnings, like where a ghost might be, because your field of view is actually relatively limited, so it can be a little bit shit like that, but they will literally say stuff like, above you, behind you, look out, and it'll actually be where the ghosts are, so it's really useful to actually listen to them. Then you use the capture beam, drag them in, and make sure they get caught in, and we can take the trap back. They'll also earn you a bit of extra money for upgrades, which we won't... That was odd. Which we won't worry too much about just yet. We can show off that menu a little bit later.
He'll be fine in a second. After you.
Oh no, if this place is possessed by possessors, we'd better get to Peter fast. Venkman, we found the curator. We're on our way to the Gozer exhibit now.
There's so much to show you. Where to start? Things have been very strange since they started setting up that exhibit.
Well, hello there.
Dig it, Peter. Break out possessed again.
Aw, Z!
You'll have to go through me first. That's exactly what he said.
Just like a puppy. Every day's the first day.
No, no, no! I want the Ghostbusters
Ghostbusters ejected from this facility immediately.
Where's his honor, Pecker? We've got news for him and a photo op.
The mayor is indisposed right now. Anything you need to tell him goes through me.
Not happening, Peckby. This is for Jock alone. Wait for him.
Security, remove these men. With excessive force.
Why do the good ones always play hard to get?
What in the hell is going on here?
They got picked.
I never got it.
More possessor ghosts. Kid, you know what to do.
Simple enough. Let's go to fighting.
I know what not to do.
So yeah, we got the full team of, well, everyone except Egon, really. And we just get the fight. The combat's probably going to be a little bit more complicated considering there's more than one ghost flying around now, but it's the same basic principle. Everyone else also gets the same things you do, so sometimes they'll help you slow them down, sometimes they'll do things like get rid of slime for you. They are actually pretty good teammates to have, considering how much they actually do for you. Not to mention they are entirely capable of capturing ghosts themselves. Like, most of the time you do have to worry about getting them into your traps, but it is worth saying that, like, I have no problem with having these guys as teammates, because they just do a decent job. I'm not going to argue against them doing a decent job in the slightest. So when you have a ghost weak enough to get into your possessor grip, you can drag them around, and if you drag them in the opposite way that they want to go, you eventually build up the slayer meter, which will do even more damage to them, and keep them... Oh, yeah. Which will eventually do more damage to them, and keep them less hostile than normal, so that you can get them into the traps easier. Not to mention the actual wrangling of ghosts is actually really satisfying. Like, I'm reminded of Luigi's Mansion, where you had to put in a... Oh dear. One of our team members has been possessed as well. Where is he? There he is. But yeah, I'm reminded of Luigi's Mansion, where you had to put in an active effort to pull against the ghost in a manner to get them into the... to get them into the vacuum. And this game plays in a very similar way. Yeah, most of the time your teammates will literally just come straight to you. They won't waste time, which is very easy to appreciate, all things considered. Although, there are a couple of points in this game where even that doesn't feel like enough sometimes, but oh well. It's alright, I gotcha. I am playing this on the experienced difficulty, which is the second of 3, and I imagine the third of 3 being quite difficult. Like, honestly, there are some boss fights and just general areas in this game that can be kind of difficult to get through your first couple of tries, just due to a pretty high difficulty. The ghosts don't, like... The ghosts put up a challenge, man. Especially when there's like 3 of them surrounding you like this, they can turn into a real problem real quickly. You can dodge around them if you so please by using the A button, and this does help sometimes. Okay, you got to use the slime on possessive ghosts. That makes sense to me. Ow! There we go. Come on. There we go. Got you back.
Find some cover. Look out! Above you!
But yeah, as I was saying, it feels a lot like playing Luigi's Mansion, where you have to be actively struggling against the ghosts. And the physics they have on dragging the ghosts around is actually really satisfying. Like, it's legitimately really cool being able to drag them around like this and just throw them against the wall with a plum and drag them towards the drag them towards the trap. And you even have to fight them on the way in, which is even cooler. There we go. It's also nice that you get, like, a on-the-spot monetary reward for it, so that you can immediately start upgrading stuff if you've got the cash.
That's a lot of whatever they are.
Oh, no. Alright, come on. Ow. Man, these guys should really see the Winchester boys about this problem.
Above you!
Yeah, the gameplay is more or less just like a... Oh, for God's sake. Can you guys stop getting possessed for like 2 seconds, please?
On your left. Run! Ooh, man. Find some cover. What are we doing, that little man?
But yeah, overall, the combat is actually satisfying. Repetitive, I'll give you that, but really, really, guys, come on, be a little bit proactive in your own not being possessedness, please. Especially since they don't seem to want to have anything to do with me whatsoever.
Oh, great. I'm gonna need another iron shower.
It is repetitive, sure, like it is majorly just dealing damage, throwing them around, and then sucking them into the trap. There are a couple of enemies that can't be defeated in this way, but that's more or less the gist of it for the most part. Just get them into the trap, no questions asked. Sometimes you get one or two, like, sometimes you get boss fights. Actually, there's a fair few boss fights that you get. And they all more or less turn into just beat the absolute bejesus out of them. Like, most of them you don't even have to suck up, but still, that is more or less along in the short of it. Where the hell did she go?
On your left. Behind you.
I guess we should probably deal with this.
Hey, over here. Little help? Yo, little help?
I said it before and I'll say it again.
Oh, come on. We've got one more left. Let's try not to get possessed by her again.
Hold him now. Jeez.
Straight to the wall. Come on, get into the trap. Break the expensive table while I'm at it. One.
Ow. That was ow there. Look out, above you.
It's usually not this bad, but then again, they are just introducing possession, so I'm guessing that after this, they'll start mixing the regular enemies back in, and it won't be anywhere near as repetitive trying to deal with them, but, you know, that's just kind of the way it works. Come on. Into the trap, please. Into the trap.
Quick, get a scan for raid.
Thankfully, when you've got more than one Ghostbuster dragging them in, they just go, like, almost straight in with the fast trap upgrade, which is nice.
All right, you guys go after Alyssa. Be careful. I'll get to security.
I love this plan.
I'll man the security cameras to triangulate them on the monitors and talk you through.
See you soon, Ray. Let's go, guys.
See you soon, guys. Dr. Rutherford, if you'll show me to security.
One thing I like is that from mostly the rookie is he's basically just a blank slate, but he still has a fair bit of... Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah, also you can scan paranormal things, ghosts, and they'll actually give you money for it, so it's recommended that you do that as much as humanly possible, while trying not to get your face clawed in by... Holy crap, what are these things? Well, you can say one thing about this game at least. The ghost designs are actually pretty varied. You do have to go up against some of the more famous ones like Slimer and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but they do come up with new ways to play with the idea of these ghosts from time to time. They do give you ones that are constructed entirely out of paper, ones that are just walking candelabras. Ouch. It's alright, we probably just got a checkpoint like right there. The game's pretty generous with them, most of the time anyway. Yeah, that's a nice loading screen tip. I wish I figured that out slightly faster. Anyway, as I was saying,
I don't think that guy's planning to be nice.
they do give you a fair bit of riding in the Ghost, but as I was trying to say before I got rudely interrupted by these guys throwing enough spears to impress the ancient Romans, the rookie actually gets a little bit of personality from time to time. They do actually have him doing things like sign language and just general gestures of I'm sick of dealing with this shit during cutscenes sometimes. It's rare, but when it does happen, it makes you feel for the poor guy. Just making sure there aren't any artifacts I've missed. Yeah, don't think there's much.
Catch up to them.
And they give you a lot of money for killing these guys. Jesus.
That was nowhere near fatal.
You're one to talk. Jesus. Alright.
Please help preserve our displays by not touching them.
Let's make some noise.
Hurry up before they get away. Take it to the bridge.
Did Winston just say, take it to the bridge? What are you guys doing now?
You were funny, Joe. Before getting to the security camera, please wait.
What else is there to talk about? The game's performance, actually. That works. The overall quality of the Switch port is actually pretty high.
Here they come.
Like, look at it. It looks pretty good. This is actually impressive for the Switch, especially considering some of the things I've seen it run that it just can't handle. Seeing it run like Ghostbusters as well as it is actually pretty good. I did play this on portable mode for the first hour or so as well, and I did fine there too, so I don't really have a massive problem with the performance of the Switch version, at the very least. I mean, every other console would have no bloody excuse, right? But in this case, it's doing pretty well for itself. Especially with all the physics objects you can play with and knock over and crap like that, right? It just does well enough that I'm willing to give it a little bit of a... I'm willing to give it a bit of a pass for only like running at 30 frames a second, or something like that. It does well. And actually looks pretty good in the process.
Look out! Above you!
I don't remember exactly who ported this, but they've clearly done a decent job of it.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Uh-oh.
These guys are annoying.
Find some cover! Oh, gun it! Look out! Above you! Ray,
There we
can you
go.
see where they went?
We haven't reached the security office yet. This place is really hopping.
Yeah, that's the Big Ten Fort.
Well, I guess let's show off this menu before we go too far further. So you've got your objectives, obviously. Guide to all the spirits you've seen so far and how many you've taken out, which is nice, or captured, including their funny little dialogues. You've also got your equipment that you can upgrade as you so see fit, including slam dunk trapping, which is actually pretty useful. Little improvements on basically everything, which is a nice little touch. Your artifacts, which you just find in all the individual levels. In the package was a cryptic note. Don't listen, but eventually she did. Nice. Your tutorials, things like how long you've been playing for, how much damage you've done. Look at that. I've done 3 times the damage that I've actually made. How many times your teammates have gone down. Damn it, Ray. And your overall combat performance and the ability to reload the last checkpoint, change your settings, and go back to the main menu. Nothing too far out of the ordinary.
We're burning daylight, Pilgrim. Can we get out of here?
I don't know why I wasn't telling me I couldn't purchase upgrades before. Sometimes it's a little picky and choosy on when it decides to display that. Nope, still no artifacts. Okay.
Hittite, Mennonite, Phoenician, Babylonian, Assyrian,
Mesopotamian.
Sumerian.
He's making it all up.
Just one of those things. You pick this stuff up, you know, around the office.
Peter, come in.
Hi, honey. How was your day?
Man, we've reached the security office. This one is a shambles. It's been sabotaged. Black slime all over the place. Only a few of the cameras are still working.
When you're free, no rush. Open gate 3487, just for kicks.
Give me a minute. We're under attack. We'll get back to
Ray,
you.
stay away from any possession. Dr. Rutherford, if you're still there, can you go catch Dr. Stantz, please?
This looks like a combat room. Oh look, artifact. Where is it?
You're not pretty when you're possessed.
There it is.
Seriously.
A Civil War rifle that shot something. I wonder if I'm gonna get blamed for that.
Okay, we're on it. Thanks.
Yeah, this is absolutely a combat room. They wouldn't give us this much room to move without throwing a monster or two in.
You know the difference between this exhibit and the other ones? The soldiers in this one have guns. Let's just pass through here as quickly as we can. And yeah, I didn't really think we could do it. Just thinking happy thoughts.
How did I know? Although admittedly Civil War Ghost is kind of neat. And they're fighting each other too. Sure, why not? Game's got creativity. It's got spark.
On the war on roses, even the war on drugs. It just had to be this one.
Thankfully I can just throw a trap out right here and completely miss my chance. That's unfortunate. That's why you gotta manage your temperature, children. It keeps things interesting. Admittedly, you get very little actual, like, time to do anything without like some of the upgrades, which is why I recommend getting things like that's why I recommend getting things like what the hell is going on? Come on. Come on. Back over here. Into the trap. That's a way. Gonna have to see if that slam trap actually works. Come on. Oh, wow, he actually can do a ranged attack on me. Fair enough. Let's see if this works. Come on. Slam. Gotcha. Nice. That would have been useful a few levels ago. I wonder why I didn't buy it then. How'd you get all the way over here, you idiot?
Those barrels are marked explosive.
Come on, you're coming with me. Don't even try to run.
They're bringing some thunder.
Down into the trap. There we go.
Let's see you guys fight it out inside that tiny little trap.
Drag him in the opposite direction. Slam. That's a way. Just gotta pull against him. Ooh, ouch.
On the right.
Jesus, why are you focusing on me so much? Leave me alone.
These have to be kept apart. Wish this trap had a window. It'd be just like a little Vicksburg snowblower.
Well, that kisses my boo-boo a little bit. Yeah, they took some casualties.
Well, that was fun. A cute little battle. Neat idea. I guess we're going out this exit, are we?
We made it to the security office. I can see you guys on the cameras. No sign of Alyssa or her kidnappers, though. In the early 1900s, the museum was run by a board of trustees. Powerful guys, tycoons, captains of industry. The chairman of the board was Cornelius Wellesley of International Steel. The board used the museum as a respectable front for all kinds of dubious activities. Mainly, though, they were part of a club run by our favorite evil architect. They hired women from the St. Nicholas Rehabilitation Mission for wayward angels. Rumor has it the board conducted all kinds of nasty rituals using these women.
We've got to find that oozing tub of blubber and Alyssa. Well, here we are, the Egypt exhibit. I practically lived here while I was working on my doctorate. There was less black slime then.
Oh, there we are. One good boson shot would be enough to take down half the pack. There we go. And there's still more, because of course there is.
They're coming through the black slime. Close the
All right. strangely enough.
Look out! Above you!
Well, that's 12 grand down the drain. Oh, that's always amusing. Definitely feels like Ghostbusters when you walk into a room and everything's fine, then you walk out of a room, everything's broken, and someone's got something smart to say about it. That's just kind of the essence. That is absolutely the essence of what we've got going on.
Hey, folks, it's okay. Be calm. Everything's under control.
It's the Ghostbusters! Ghost! Get away! Get away!
Watch it now.
Yeah, of course. The trap locks us in with the ghost. Wouldn't it be nice to get locked out every now and then?
Oh yeah, these guys. We've got to get their shields out of their hands before we can really do damage to them. And, of course, they have spears.
Knock it off! That ghost is going down!
Ragdoll physics. Hoorah. I'll at least give them credit. The levels are really long. Like, actually a pretty significant length of time. So when I say the game's got like only 8 levels in it, the levels usually take a fair bit to get through. So at least you're not being... At least they're not skimping out on the overall length of the gameplay. Got the shield and tell it to buzz off. It's a bit dark. Man, I just caused another 6 grand worth of damage. With one poorly aimed shot. Guess I better throw the trap out, huh? Not to pull out the shotgun when they're this close.
Look out! Above you!
Just even like the little marks that the proton beams leave around on the walls and the floor is just... It feels authentic. I think that's the best thing I can say about this game overall when compared to like the movies that it's based on. It feels authentic. Like, the first couple of things that you do, the first place that you visit is the hotel from the first movie because Slimer escapes and gets to it. And it definitely looks like the movie. They definitely had to pad it out a little bit with like generic hallways and stuff, but it looks like it. Everything looks like you would see in a Ghostbusters movie, even like the equipment. With how ridiculous the proton packs are.
I don't see a door.
Well, I'm looking right at the blueprints and, oh, I get it. Clever. The ghosts use their own dimensionally anomalous signatures to slightly wrinkle a time-space continuum. The door is still there.
Good. Thank you very much. Now let's get the hell out of here. Where'd Peter go now?
Just us, huh, Winston? Really? Actually, to be fair, that's exactly what he would do. What am I doing? Shotgun. There we are. There's another one of those portals open up. I don't see it if it did, so I think we're okay.
above you!
Missed. Missed. Gotchas.
Scooter. We need to go. Let's roll.
There he is! Let's get him!
This guy is apparently the chairman. Ouch. Gonna have to end this video at some point. Hopefully the boss fight will be soon enough. Oh look, another artifact. Painting of the Trustees.
Gonna have to watch out for you! On your left! Hey, more trouble!
Yeah, I'm under these guys' shit.
Come on! I think we're gaining on it!
Spot that door.
On your left! Let him have it! Behind you!
Hey guys, did you find Alyssa? Where did that ghost go?
You didn't see him, but he just came through here.
He must be headed back to the World of Gozer exhibit.
That's our cue. Move it.
Alright, this ought to be the boss fight. I don't think there's any more screwing around that they can do.
Not the words that rescuing hero wants to hear from his damsel in distress. May I say, your eyes are much prettier when they're not glowing like hot coals.
Peter, I've made an extraordinarily frightening
Why
discovery.
don't you all go away?
All my data indicate that the ghost world is beginning to push through multiple cross portals from their dimension into ours.
Well, more overtime.
Guys, look!
Now she calls my name.
Block the exits!
Don't let it escape with her!
Hit him with slime!
Winston, get the lady out of here before he hits on her again.
Into the big yellow eye!
Who wouldn't like to have that superpower?
Care to tell me why my library, museum, and parade are all going down the toilet?
I keep telling you, sir, the Ghostbusters are nothing but scam artists determined to throw a negative light on you and the city, and extort you for more money.
Hello, Peck. I own that suit in blue.
Both of you, pipe down!
Mr. Mayor, an enormous event is on the horizon.
Something at the museum exhibit triggered a systemized psychic occurrence. Some mechanism we don't know the nature of yet.
No, of course you don't.
But it's feeding enormous energy somewhere.
Something that's now in the process of breaking down the walls between our world and another one.
This other world is crossing through into ours. It started with simple ghosts and animated monsters.
Now it's getting bigger. We don't know exactly what's next, but there's only room for one city here in this dimension.
Two physical worlds can't exist in the same space. That's just elementary particle physics.
We got a glimpse of the other world, Jock. It ain't pretty. It's like Brooklyn and the Bronx, with no Queens in the middle.
Whole city blocks sinking into a fifth-dimensional abyss.
Cockroaches the size of polo ponies.
Panic in the streets.
How'd you like Disco to come back? Bigger than ever.
I get it. We're in trouble. So what am I supposed to do?
We need to prepare the city for the
The
worst.
city's my responsibility, not yours. Now go do your job and stop that thing.
You got a bite on your PKE. Scan around for something paranormal with your goggles.
You know, I think that's as good place to end as any, especially considering we're coming up on 55 minutes. As much as I would like to show you a boss fight, seriously, these levels get longer. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't another, like, half hour in there waiting for us. But still, that was a look at the remaster of the Ghostbusters video game, and I am actually really enjoying it. It is authentic down to a T, since it's got the original writers, actors, and, well, yeah, actors now that I think about it. It is really good at what it does, which is providing an authentic Ghostbusters experience. It does a really good job at that. You legitimately do feel like you're playing an extra movie. And that, I don't say that lightly. I'm usually pretty picky about this sort of stuff, but this does a really good job at feeling like the movies it came from. And that is more than enough for me to say go pick it up. Unless you've never seen or absolutely hate Ghostbusters, in which case you should probably avoid it, because while the gameplay is enjoyable, considering that half the fun of it comes from the original Ghostbusters still being around, and, you know, doing their thing, chatting, making silly jokes, it wouldn't appeal to anyone just by itself. But, again, Ghostbusters is a good movie, and most people seem to think that, so if you like that, play this. Also, I'm proud of myself. It's been over 57 minutes and I didn't make a single pass at the Ghostbusters reboot that they put out not too long ago. Hooray! This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.